Hey people, I went for a little hunt today before going to pick my son up from school. A place I haven't been to for probably for about 3 months, and not a bad haul, I reckon. These are all $1 each. You can see the price tag is still on them. This was from the Salvation Army store, and yeah, you can see there. I always find interesting. Some of the stores they date them. They date when they put the product out into the store. I guess when it was donated. And you see these were donated on the 23rd of February. Today is the 27th. So that they've been sitting there for about 4 days. Sometimes you find same day. Sometimes you see them, they've been sitting there for months. There are some stores I go, like I've said before, I kind of go on a circuit, and I visit stores once every kind of 2 or 3 months, and sometimes, actually a lot of times, you see the same stock there. Hasn't moved on, over a year. But anyway, you can see here, I'll go through them, just a little bit about each. So the first one here is Hall and Oates. Now, I got this, I guess, because it was kind of strange. I like Hall and Oates. I went through a huge Hall and Oates fan about 7 years ago, I remember, where I couldn't get enough of Hall and Oates. I currently own one of their greatest hits compilations, which has got all the songs you would expect on it. It's a double CD. The thing that intrigued me about this in a kind of way is the songs they have on it. So this is Hall and Oates Legends. There isn't a single, there isn't one single on here. These seem to be deep cuts from I don't know when. Because I don't recognize, well, maybe I do if I went through and listened to it, I'd recognize them, but The Provider, They Need Each Other, If That Makes You Happy, Angelina. There's no Private Eyes or I Can't Go For That or Man-Eater or anything like that. So I'm curious why they put this together. This looks like it's one of those one of those albums or kind of compilations that they release almost like off-brand. Like there's nothing in it. It says see inlay for details. Where's the inlay? Is this the inlay? What I mean is that I don't know who their record label was at the height of their popularity in the 80s. I assume it was one of the big ones, and but they may have had albums before that or even after that were on smaller labels that have since licensed out there or resold the rights to the music, and then companies buy it up and then put out like these compilations just as a money grab. Here we go. Here's my other Hall and Oates one. I bought this years and years ago, and BMG it's saying, so one of the big record labels, and yeah, that's got all the songs you'd recognize on that. But yeah, so I'll have a listen to this Hall and Oates Legends. Seemingly 16 songs I've never even heard of before, but they title it Legends. Anyway, $1. I'm willing to pay that for a Hall and Oates album. Next, Lupe Fiasco. Now, Lupe Fiasco is not something I'd usually go for, but I've only heard 2 songs by him. But the 2 songs I've heard, I like both a lot. They are not from this album. They're from I don't know what the name of the album is. Alan Forever, and there's a song that's kind of, it's almost like a companion piece that he wrote. So the one Alan Forever is about the little boy who died. He was a Syrian kid, and they were a refugee, and they were fleeing Syria I think they were leaving from Turkey actually, in a boat, and the boat capsized with a whole bunch of migrants or refugees on board, and he didn't have a life jacket, and his body was washed up on a beach in Turkey. I'm sure you've seen that famous picture, and his name was Alan Al-Kurdi or something like Alan Al-Kurdi. And Lupe Fiasco wrote a song about him from the perspective of imagining if he lived and what he could have done in his life. And it's a really beautiful song lyrically, and the song, the sound of the song's cool as well. But he did that, and then he also did a song after that. Was it Waves? Sorry, I should have known this before I looked. But yeah, sorry, Drogas Wave is the album I'm thinking of. And the other song that he did that went along with that was Janila Forever. So Ellen Forever and Janila Forever. And Janila Forever is about a girl, Janila, I think she was like a 12-week baby that was caught in the crossfire of a gang shooting in Chicago. And he writes a song from her perspective, and if she had lived and what she could have achieved in her life. And he kind of connects them both together, or at least she features in the Ellen song. And I think the melody or the chord progression he uses reverses in the Ellen song. It's almost like an ascending chord progression, and then in the Janila song it's a descending one. That's my completely layman music, but that's what it just sounds like. So I have no idea what this is going to sound like. I don't know anything about him beyond those two songs, but those two songs are amazing enough for me to take a gamble on this album. And it was, like I said, only $1. This album looks like it is from 2006. So that's a lot after the one that I listened to. The one I listened to was from 2018. So he's been around for a while. When I was at university, I studied Spanish, and there was a character in the book, the textbook, called Lupe Carrasco. And I always remember that. And then I always think, is that where he got his name? Lupe Fiasco? Lupe Carrasco? Is that like a famous textbook? Anyway, My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade. I've heard of this before. And I think this is one of their big albums, if not their biggest album. I know My Chemical Romance were pretty big in the 2000s, early 2010s. But it's a band that completely passed me by. That, I don't know what you call them, like, I think people attach the term goth to it. It's not, in my opinion, it's not goth musically in any way whatsoever. I guess they had white makeup and dyed black hair. But I don't know much about this band. I probably will know some of the songs if I hear them, just from hearing them around on by charts in the past. But this looks like is it a special edition, or is that just the sleeve is just something that came with all of them? I don't know. But yeah, I'm keen to give this a listen to, because yeah, I hear lots of people talking about this band, and the way they talk about it is like it was like a seminal band in their life. It was like had a huge impact on them. And I'm thinking, where was I where this band was so huge? 2006. So that's when I was living, or one of the times I was living in Asia. I was living in Japan at that time. So maybe that's why it completely passed me by. But yeah, interesting. Anyway, not bad for $1. And lastly, these four we can talk about together. 4 of the Jamiroquai albums. So we've got Return of the Space Cowboy, Funk Odyssey, Dynamite, and the big album Traveling Without Moving. This is one with Virtual Insanity on it, which is probably their most well-known song, I would say. Now, Jamiroquai is a band I've listened to since I was a teenager. I own this. I bought this when I was 17, I remember, and then I re-bought it when I was about 21. So I've lost 2 copies of this album. A couple of years ago, bought their singles greatest hits collection. I've got that somewhere on my shelf, which has got all their most well-known songs. But I enjoy the music enough to want to own the album. So 4 of their albums for $4, that's pretty good. And see, this is from when Sounds music store was still open in New Zealand. They don't exist anymore. They haven't existed for probably about 15, 20 years. Your CD and DVD specialist. Well, yes, exactly. There's a clue why they don't exist anymore. Just from having a quick look in the store, the condition looks absolutely fine. Haven't looked at the booklets, but that looks a little bit marred, but fine. One of them had another CD sitting. Oh, okay, that's got a missing tab, which is a pretty common thing. But the CD looks fine. You know, I like Jamiroquai a lot, and they kind of get a somewhat of a bad rap. I think the guy, the singer, the guy with the hat, JK, I think he put a lot of people off because I've read interviews with him and seen him on TV and stuff, and he seems like a bit of a dick, to be honest. And a lot of people think he is Jamiroquai. They don't realize that Jamiroquai is the name of the band, and he's the vocalist. I don't know if he's the main songwriter or not. He could be, or maybe not. But I know the instrumentation is pretty high level. I've talked before about how I play guitar a bit, and often look up tabs, which are the easy way to learn how to play a song, or I think the easy way. And there are certain bands when I look at the tabs, I just think, I'm not going to bother because it's just so, the level is so above where I am that I wouldn't even bother trying to play it. And Jamiroquai is one of those bands. They mix a lot of funk with, I guess, jazz, pop. Was this the one that had a? No, I'm sure one of them had an extra CD in it. No, this one here. Okay. So someone's left a CDR inside here. That'll be interesting. I should try and see what's on that just for posterity's sake. But yeah, what I was saying, yeah, a lot of people don't like Jamiroquai because of that, or didn't, I should say. They're not, I think they've passed out of the popular consciousness now, and they're more just a band that if you like them, you like them. But there was a stage where they were pretty big. I remember there was one year they won a whole bunch of MTV Music Video Awards. I think it was at 1997, and that album, Traveling Out Moving, was pretty big. I would guess it sold a few million around the world, at least. And yeah, the guy came off a bit of a prat, JK. But their music is good enough where I think it can be accepted. So you look here, feels just like it should. 7 Days in Sunny June. That's a great song. There's another song, might not be on this one, might be the one after that. Well, maybe it's this one. Little L, that's a good one. I'm thinking of the one of Don't Give Hate a Chance, which I think was on a later album, post this one. But anyway, I'm happy to have that. 4 Jamiroquai albums for $4. So yeah. So there, pretty good, I reckon. That's 7 CDs, all in pretty good condition, and a range of different stuff. We got hip hop, rock, funk, all near new condition. Nothing's absolutely tattered or anything like that. The Hall and Oates one might be a bit old, but yeah. So I was pretty happy with that find, that haul. Might have another look again tomorrow because I've got another day off tomorrow. So my work is shift work, and so I have my days off, random days throughout the week. Sometimes Saturday, Sunday, but this week it's Monday, Tuesday. So in some ways that's good because I can get out and have a look around places while it's not crowded. Everyone else is at work. Other ways it's not good because everyone else is working, and if I want to catch up with anyone, that's probably not going to happen. Also, if you're working Saturday or Sunday, I miss a lot of what's going on in my son's life. It can be hard for me and my wife to juggle childcare when we're both working in the weekend. But anyway, yeah. So if you've watched this far, which probably no one has, to be honest, because I look at the analysis of the videos, and most people don't get past about 30 seconds of these videos. So, but if you do, I thank you. And I've been doing this for a few weeks now. Probably coming up in a month soon. Maybe it is a month. No, probably a little bit less than a month. And it's something that I really enjoy doing. I started doing this as like a New Year's resolution, just because my work is so all-encompassing. It makes it hard to have anything outside of work. I just have kind of go to work and come home and just be exhausted and just kind of zone out, look at my phone until it's time to go to work again sometimes. And it's like life passes you by quickly when you do that. So I wanted to kind of put some things in my life where at least I had something that I felt I had to do every day, beyond, family stuff, which of course is the most important, but things in my, I guess, for me only. And one of them is this, because I wanted to make YouTube videos for ages, but you can probably tell I'm not a very good speaker, and that's one of the other reasons I wanted to do this, is to kind of give myself a chance to practice speaking in a slightly public forum. But I really enjoy doing it. It gives me kind of something to look forward to, which might seem sad, but it's true. So if you have watched this far, or maybe someday in the future someone's watching this far from February 2023, thank you for watching. Because when I see some views or likes, someone likes it or writes a comment, not that I've had very many of those, but if it's for me, that's pretty amazing. It's like it's a nice feeling to know that at least someone, even if it's just one person's watching. Anyway, again, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it. Bye.